Now on this Hot Bodies flush mount kit. Hi, I'm Damien from the Rescue Rent Cycles. Today we're going to be installing some Hot Bodies flush mount turn signals on this 2007 CBR 1000. First thing we're going to have to do is take off this side panel so that we can get access to the stock turn signal. Okay? First thing we're going to need is a 5mm Allen so we can take apart these fasteners right here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? Take this bottom one off. And this one next. This one right here. You'll notice this one has a different collar on it, has a different hole, it's a little bit bigger. Okay, so you look, you got 3 fasteners with the same length. Just to let you see. You got one. It's got a little collar. Right there. Okay. Next, we got a couple little push buttons we gotta remove. A couple on the bottom and a couple over here on the top. We'll start right here on the top. You take a flathead if you want. Most people got a small flathead screwdriver. You just push down the middle right there. Okay. I have a little seal puller. It has a little rounded end so we don't gouge anything. I'll pop that up right there. Sometimes you just pick it up with your fingernail and then you'll push that back down. You got one on the very top up here, okay? And we're going to come down to the very front. And on the front, you'll see you got one right here. One right here. One right here. Alright, next we're going to remove some push pins on these inner fairing up here. You're going to need a Phillips head.
Phillips head.
You can turn the inner part of it. It'll come out and then you can just pull it out from there. See? You got one more right here. Just down from the other one. Same thing. You're going to screw it out a little bit. You can pull that one out as well. Just a little further down from that one, right here. A little tighter. Obviously, the same thing. Reach in there. Turn it. This one I'm going to use the little flathead just to get it out. Okay, so like I said, you had 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to go to the very bottom. Right here. You got one in the very, very bottom. Same thing. Unscrew it and pull it out. We should have everything loose now, except these 2. We got 2 more little push buttons at the very top. Now these ones are the ones that are on the very, very top. You just push it in, push it in. I'll take my little seal puller, pull that one out. Then I can get this on my fingernail. I'll pull that one out. Alright, now we got all the fasteners out and the push pins. We can remove the plastic. Usually I like to pull out a little bit and then you're going to want to pull back from the front. That's going to unlock the very front. You can see it's got a couple little tangs that go in and lock. And you can disconnect the turn signal from the stock wire harness. I'll use my little flathead. once again to assist me with the plug. Voila. Now we'll go ahead and we'll take the turn signal off. Need a 10 millimeter. Push that nut loose. Remove that. And then we're going to remove all the stock hardware. So if you can separate right there. Pull the turn signal through. We'll set that aside. And we can remove the rubber grommet. We can set that aside. Would you like to install this professionally? So right around, I'd say here, we'll go ahead and cut it, okay? So give ourselves room to solder and connect it on either side, either way, okay? So obviously, we've got enough room. Later on, we need to cut a little bit of wire, come back, cut a little bit of wire, come back. We can go ahead and connect that up, okay? And we'll still have the stock connected. We're going to prepare the wires. Always make sure you read your instructions. It says connect the red wire on the hot body's turn signal to the orange wire on the left signal. So that would be solid orange wire, not the orange with the white stripe, but a solid orange wire. So we're going to bend this orange with the white stripe out of the way, so we're not going to use that. Another great reason for using your stock connector is that if you want to remove your fairing, you'll still be able to disconnect it. If you hardwire it in, you'll have to kind of leave your fairing hanging, which isn't a big deal. They give you more than enough length on the hot body's turn signal kit. But it is also nice to just be able to disconnect the whole thing. Now we'll go ahead and strip the wires. You want to give yourself enough length on this one to kind of have where you can wrap around the hot body's turn signal wire. Now we'll go ahead and cut ourselves a little bit of heat shrink. Slide that on the red wire. I like to wear gloves. It's up to you. Now we're going to join the red wire with the orange wire. I like to twist my wire. This one, as you can see, is already twisted. Then we're going to wrap them around. If I can get this little twist on it, which I did. So now the wire feels a little bit more solid. I can bend this one out of the way, and we'll go ahead and we'll solder that. Now we'll go ahead and warm up the wires. Now they're all soldered together. You can go ahead and slide the heat shrink over. So go ahead. Make sure you always slide the heat shrink on before you get the wires on. And join the ground, which will be the black and green on this Honda. Green is always ground on a Honda. I'm going to go ahead and solder that. Same thing. I want to warm up the wire. Alright, now that we got it soldered, we'll go ahead and slide the heat shrink over. We'll take our heat gun. Now that's all connected, we can go ahead and electric tape around the harness. I'm going to keep the orange and white wire tucked out of the way still. Alright, we got everything taped up. Put that stock hot body spacer back onto the turn signal. And we'll get our inner fairing. Now that we have the stock connector soldered in, we'll go ahead and put that through the fairing with the stock hot body spacer on the inside. We'll go ahead, switch the fairing around, install our 4 hot bodies spacers on the inside. We'll also put some medium strength blue Loctite. Reinstall our 8mm nut. These don't have to be crazy tight. You can almost tighten it just by hand. Feel it just right there. I could put a wrench on it, but it's just going to strip it out. You're talking about plastic, so I'll go crazy. Okay, now that we have this connector soldered in, and connect it back, and connect the connector back in. We'll go ahead now. You got a couple little connectors right here that have to slide forward in the fairing, and you got one notch right here. Usually it's a little easy to kind of set the back up a little bit. You slide this front fairing piece into the connector right there. And boom. Once that's in, you can lay all this back up there. And go ahead and put our big fastener right here. We'll go ahead and put our one fastener with the collar in the back to hold our fairing up. Make sure everything's all lined up where it needs to be. We'll go ahead, start this fastener. They're all 5mm. Got one right here on the top. You got one more down here. Alright, we got it started. We'll go ahead now and put one of our pins with the Phillips head back on the bottom. And we'll push it. It's going to lock that, okay? And then we got these kinds that push. Alright, go ahead and take your push pins like this. Stick them in here. Make sure your fairing is all stuck in there. Get your push pin started. And then once it's all slid in, just push it all the way. Grab one more. Goes back here. Same thing. Got the one with the Phillips head. And we got some in here in the inner fairing. Right there. It's all the way up here. Snap that one. Alright, I got the bottom pin in. Just by lining up the back a little bit. I'll push that one in. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bottom, 2 up here, and we got one more on the very top. There you go. Now, we'll go ahead and tighten all our 5mm Allens. Go on the top. Now they are into rubber well nuts. You don't have to go crazy tight. I just had to put a new one on this one because it had gotten so old and dry that I couldn't even work with it anymore. So sometimes on these sport bikes you'll have to replace these from time to time, especially when they get old and dry. Got one more on the bottom. And that is it. That is your Hot Bodies flush mount turn signal. As you see, it's flashing fast. For some of you that want to slow it down, you'll have to put a resistor in there. For some of you others, it doesn't bother. Just go ahead and fly with it. For everybody else, safe riding out there. Until next time, thank you.